grab a drink, get comfy, and prepare to learn about
the strange, the unusual, and the downright stupid things you didn't think that you needed to know about.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Brooke.
And this is
Drunk in the Library. Like episode 19.
It is.
Holy shit.
I know.
We did 19 of these suckers. Very excited. Alrighty. So, do we have any questions, comments, concerns from last episode?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. If we do, then I'll just address it another time.
Yeah.
But I don't think we do. You're the one that usually writes this stuff down.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't have anything written for this one. I do have like a real quick, weird, like just a fun little news article to share with you if you want to hear.
Sure.
Okay, so
what if I told you no?
I would just go home, I guess. I would just get the fuck out.
Okay, go ahead.
So my Alexa today came up with like a headline of like Iceland screaming news article, and I was like, hey Alexa, what the fuck is this? Apparently Iceland is doing this thing where they just like want you to record yourself screaming into a microphone and send it to them. What? For them to like broadcast in their national forests.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know, they're trying to like promote tourism by just like leaking screams into their forest.
Sorry. That ain't gonna get me to go into the
Right?
forest.
Like, our forests scream now.
I would be fucking shit scared.
I know.
I hear like the slightest noise when I'm walking in the woods and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die today.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, imagine walking through Iceland forests, which are they're a lot less tame than New Jersey forests.
And they're
you're
purposefully,
just, like, emitting screams.
What the fuck?
I know.
Do you want to send them screams?
I thought about it, yeah, kind of.
I'll do it. I want somebody to hear my scream in the forest.
Cool, catch us later screaming into our mics.
I'm gonna make it, like, pterodactyl-like, though. Like, I'll give them a nice, like, screech.
They even have on their website tips on how to scream better.
Okay. Just get real stressed. Sit in your car for a second. Think about the most aggravating thing of your day. And then just go for it.
Sometimes I do that on my way home from work.
I think about it, but I don't want to hear myself. So I don't do it.
Yeah.
But I'll do it for science.
Yeah, for science. Why not, right?
Yeah. Anyway, that is fun and weird.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that with everybody because I thought that was funny.
I think it's funny that Alexa thought that was important.
I know, like important enough to share with me.
Alexa's like, I see the news you look at. Here you go.
I do only look at the weirdest ones she provides.
I know. I do the same thing on Apple. I'm always like swiping to the side. I'm like, this is all depressing things. I recently changed it because like I want science and history news.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be some weird ass shit in there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Support us before Brooke starts.
Oh, yeah.
Support the show.
Yes, please, and thank you.
Like, comment, subscribe,
do
share.
the things, and we'll appreciate you.
Cool.
Okay, cool. I go first. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you a story before I tell you my sources.
I love ones that start with stories.
I know. I think it's the best, because then I don't have to, like, just be like, well, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So this one has a story to go with it. It's not very long, but we'll get into it. All right. Let me take a sip of my drink to clear my throat.
Oh, what are we drinking today?
I mean, I'm drinking the usual fucking strawberry tequila seltzer.
I switched it up. I'm drinking mimosas because it's only noon.
Yours looks like it has no juice in it. Is that mimosa or is that just wine? What?
First of all, champagne isn't a mimosa. Second of all, it's peach juice. But I don't know why it's clear.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I've seen peaches.
Yeah, I've seen one or two, yes.
They don't look like that. I was like, what the fuck are you... What do you mean you drinking a mimosa?
Just a big glass of champagne.
Yep. All right. Now for our story. So, we begin our story sometime in 1589. King James VI of Scotland, the son of late Mary, Queen of Scots, sails to Denmark in hopes of meeting Princess Anne and deciding if she will be his new bride. So upon arriving in Denmark, not only did he meet his princess, but he also met other influential people who informed him about Denmark's active witch hunts. And the theory that witches made a pact with the devil, I think it's called like the Christian something theory, Christian pact theory.
Yeah, that sounds
I
right.
don't know, something fucking weird. So this knowledge and philosophy did not go unused by King James. So in August of 1589, Princess Anne married King James by proxy, which means that they both were not present for the wedding. They had to have two people stand in their place because she was in Denmark, he was in Scotland.
Yo, that's amazing.
So
they're like, we want to get married, but like just in title.
It's just going to take too
Also,
long for us
we're
to
not
travel.
There, so
Yeah.
like if you guys could just do it, that'd be awesome.
So it's called a proxy marriage.
Were those people who were standing in also accidentally then married?
I have no idea. Can you imagine, like, bro, you got to stand in for me.
And also, by the way, you might also be getting married.
Actually,
Sorry.
no, I think it's, so, like, he basically nominates somebody to, like, proxily marry her
Okay.
in place of him. Like, he's gonna eventually marry her, but, like, he can't be there. So, like, from what I was reading, like, this dude had to basically, like, do all of the wedding stuff, and then had to, like, lay in a bed with her to, like,
signify the consummation.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's weird. So, upon becoming a married woman, and therefore Queen Anne embarked on a journey via ship to finally settle down in her new home of Scotland. Unfortunately, strong storms forced her to halt her journey and take refuge in Norway. Every time that she tried to leave to go and meet her new husband, she basically got pushed back by, like, these storms and, like, couldn't get to where she needed to be.
Well, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is.
So, so she was faced with storms or other misfortunes that prevented the meeting. During that time, she sent a letter to King James to finally let him know that she was having trouble getting to him and that efforts were proving futile. Finally, in October of 1589, King James had had enough and decided to go fetch his new bride himself. He arrived in Norway in November, where he was finally able to officially marry Queen Anne. Their journey home was not an easy one, and just as Mary had faced rough weather during her attempted journey to him, the newlyweds also faced storms on their way back home. It was at this point King James determined that this was not the result of coincidence, but rather witches who opposed him and his new queen.
Makes sense.
This would kick off the largest witch hunt in Scotland's history, beginning with the North Berwick witch trials, which is... We're going to talk about the North Berwick witch trials, but then we're going to go into a bunch of other shit. Because, like, that's only a small part of this, but it's a
These
lot.
witch hunts lasted, like, forever, right? Like, they lasted quite a while.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's, like, this is nothing. Like, the Salem witch trials are nothing compared to this.
They don't hold a candle to this.
Yeah, so... My sources are Wikipedia, ScottishLegal.com, HistoryLearningSite.co.uk, History-UK.com, and WitchcraftandWitches.com. So, in 1563, Scotland passed the Witchcraft Act, which prohibited the practice of witchcraft as well as consulting anyone who was a practicing witch. Now, there was already an act in place by Queen Elizabeth I had put, like, something in place, but it was never this... Like, it was never strict. Like, I'm pretty sure only one person was, like, convicted under the act. Like, this was a little bit more serious.
Witch-hunty?
Yeah, witch-hunty. So both of those things were deemed capital offenses, and therefore you could be put to death if you were found guilty of either. So the North Berwick trials began in July of 1590.
Okay.
The trials began with the arrest of a woman named Gilly Duncan. She was a servant whose employer started becoming a little suspicious of her because she'd, like, leave the house late at night to go, like, God knows where. And then, like, all of a sudden...
Obviously do spells.
Well, yeah, because you ain't gonna do them in your own house.
No. That's just
and then
bad
she also, like,
witchcraft.
supposedly developed these, like, weird healing powers. And, like, could not fucking explain when she was confronted where this was coming from. She was just like, well, I don't know. Guess I'm just really good.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
He basically was like, well, that's not a good enough answer. Had her arrested, and then she was tortured when she failed to produce an explanation as to why she can all of a sudden heal people and where the fuck she was going. After enduring brutal torture, she not only admitted to witchcraft, but named a whole bunch of other people as participants as well.
Oh, shit.
And then she was eventually burned at the stake. So this is kind of where we get that idea of burning witches at the stake, because Salem, they were all, like, hanged.
Yeah.
While here, it was a little bit
They did
rougher.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously this is like a century before the actual like Salem witch trials.
Right.
So, yeah, they gave zero fucks. They were like, we're just gonna fucking put you up on a pyre and set fire to you. So she only accused around 5 people.
Okay. Oh, that's it.
Yeah, but between 70 and 200 people were actually accused of being witches after this. So, like, she would accuse people, and then they would accuse people, and it was just, like, a fucking shit show, and everybody got accused of being a witch. Many were tortured and accused others when they couldn't take it anymore. So a lot of them, obviously, are, like, confessing under, like, duress, because, like, what else are you going to do if somebody's fucking doing these awful things to you? They also claim that they were meeting at this churchyard called Aldkirk Green. They claim that the devil saw King James as a threat that needed to be extinguished. He thought that was kind of funny, and
I think
also
that's kind of funny too.
was like kind of flattered by that. He was like, "Devil's scared of me."
I feel like James, he reacted exactly to that as you or I would react. Like, if somebody tells me I'm a threat that needs to be extinguished, I'm just gonna be like, "Dang, son, that's cool."
Yeah, but why?
I mean, like, I don't disagree, but why?
Yeah, I mean, I am a threat, but, like, why do you feel like I'm a threat to you? I just want to hear reasons.
Yeah. I just want to be validated.
Yeah. It's like, I think I know the reason, but I want you to tell me what your reasoning is. So basically, like, they claim that the devil made them devote themselves to, like, destroying him. Such incidents included summoning storms to sink his ships, as well as poisoning him. I don't know if he ever had any, like, attempted poisonings.
I can imagine that probably most authority figures do.
Yeah.
Like,
so, like
top-tier authority figures, somebody's got to be out to kill him.
I'm sure, yeah. So this is really fucking weird and interesting. But one example claimed that the devil had the witches dig up bodies in the autumn of 1590 and then cut off various parts and organs. They were then tied to a dead cat and thrown into the sea. This was supposed to, like, summon a storm.
I have
1,000 questions.
Yes. Because, like, if they're not witches, if they're not actually witches, why are they confessing to such bizarre things?
What's weird is that all of them kind of said the same thing. Like, they all were like, no, we were meeting in this courtyard and, like, doing this shit. Like,
so maybe they were witches.
Maybe. But, like, my thing is, like, why those ingredients?
I don't know. I mean, you and I don't know how to summon a storm god, so...
I thought I did as a kid. When I used to go into the ocean, let me tell you, just a little sidebar. I would be playing in the ocean with, like, my cousins, and, like, we always had this thought that if you picked up, like, a big clamshell from, like, the bottom of, like, the ocean and then you flung it into a wave, you had to get it just right. If you flung it into the wave, the next wave would be real big.
I mean, that's fair.
Like, fully convinced that we were, like, appeasing a sea god that was like, yeah, we'll give you big waves.
Did you ever, like, go into a grocery store as a kid and, like, part the doors?
No.
Oh, I used to do that. You know, they're automatic, so they're gonna part anyway. But you go up to them and you know, before you get there, you kind of push them apart with your mind first, and it's because of you then.
That's fair, I guess. But, like, also, like, was there abundance of dead cats?
Yes.
Did you have to kill these cats? Were they already dead? What were the conditions that needed to be met here?
Well, first of all, don't ask me about the dead cats because I had nothing to do with that.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I'm musing to the fucking universe here. Like, why dead cats?
There were probably plenty of dead cats.
I don't know.
It's like a bad time to be alive,
a fucking,
man.
Like, literally walking through your town holding a fucking dead cat with an arm wrapped around it. And you're just like, don't mind me, just going to go throw this into the sea to fucking kill the king.
Just doing my daily here.
Yeah. Nothing to see here. Anyway, so a lot of people that were accused actually more or less died due to torture versus being, like, burned at the stake.
Okay.
Torture methods were pretty bad.
We've been over torture methods.
Yeah, well, this was a time when the infamous breast ripper was used that you'll find in episode 4, as I aptly named Titty Tongs, because that's exactly what the fuck they are. But there was also this device called a scold's bridle, which was like It literally was like a ball gag that like went over your entire head.
Okay.
And like instead of a ball being in your mouth, it was like spikes. It was like 4 spikes, 2 went into each cheek, and then like 2 pressed onto your tongue. So if you tried to speak, you would literally stab yourself.
Oh my god, that's awful.
Yeah.
Jesus, humanity is just, we deserve whatever's coming to us.
This is 2020 is like our karma.
Yeah. Karma for 2,000 years of shittiness.
Yeah, basically. So these trials continued for 2 years. They ended in 1592, but were not the last that we would see of witch persecution in Scotland. So then the next like hunt that came was in 1597 called the Great Scottish Witch Hunt. All the ones after that were also named the Great Scottish Witch Hunt. So
but
they
this
weren't.
one was the first.
This was the Great Scottish Witch Hunt, the first. Yeah. The other ones just numbered thereafter. They were all great, apparently.
I mean, anytime you're going on a real witch hunt, it's got to be a good time.
Yeah, I guess so. These lasted March through October of 1597. King James used his, and I put this in quotes, expertise on witches to write a book called Demonology. I hate the way that it's spelled.
Oh, is it like DAE?
Yeah, and like ology is OLI or OLOGIE. There's no Y.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's fucking awful.
Demonology.
Demonology. It's fucking awful. Yeah, because he like apparently he was a king that like got really into like different subjects and like would study them to the point where he like was like a self-proclaimed like expert on them. So like this one he did like a lot of like quote unquote research of and was like, I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I am a demonologist.
Yeah. I'm gonna rid the world of this fucking garbage, man. So his book was basically about witchcraft, how it was used on men, as well as the reasons and importance for persecuting witches. This publication was actually thought to be like the spark that kind of lit the fire for the 1597 hunts, because that came out that year and like everyone was like all up in arms. That book also covers werewolves and vampires.
Oh, so he was like a very, very well-rounded expert.
Yeah, if you're gonna learn about everything, all the threats.
Yeah.
So during these, around 400 were tried and around 200 were actually put to death.
Holy shit, so it had a 50% death rate.
Basically, yeah. And most women were healers as well as like older women that were accused. So like, you know, each of these like villages has like almost like they have like a midwife or like a healer, and those people were probably like shitting fucking their pants because like
they're gonna get accused.
Yeah,
they're the most likely ones.
But then also like who the fuck is coming to help you while you're like giving birth? Ain't nobody.
Man.
Can't use magic anymore.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
I know, they fucked themselves here. So 3 more major witch hunts would occur in Scotland in the years that followed. Between 1603 and 1625 alone, there was an estimated about 20 trials a year.
Wow, that's a lot.
So, like, England had stuff going on, too, at this time, but, like, Scotland was, like, fucking trials for everything. Like, they were not backing down. And Scotland had, like, a third of the population that England did. They just
Holy shit.
There was not
they,
enough
like,
people for this.
Literally every other person on the street was getting accused of being a
Basically,
witch.
yeah. Like, you blinked the wrong way, and it was, like, witchcraft.
Damn.
Like... So nearly half of those accused were actually executed. The hunts and accusations wouldn't actually die out until like the early 1700s.
Holy crap,
so
that is way too recent.
This started in 1590.
Went on 100 years.
Yeah. Wow. Insane. So the numbers kind of vary. I couldn't find like actual like definitive numbers.
Yeah, they probably weren't keeping like real good tally marks.
Yeah, record keeping wasn't the worst then, but like when you're accusing and then executing that many people, you're not gonna
really
like eventually they kind of just like stopped keeping track because like it's just too much. So what I kind of did find was that it was estimated between 4,000 and 6,000 people were accused, and that 1,500 were actually killed.
Wow.
Like,
that's
you're thinking
insane.
1,500 people in that time period, while, like, Salem was, like, what? Like, I don't even know.
I think 20 people died.
Oh, yeah. It was, like, a small amount of people compared to this. So, some of the reasons that you could be accused were being related to somebody who was accused, being a little too rebellious in nature. Like, if you were, like, a woman in the town that was, like, doing her own thing, you were probably a witch. Also, if, like, the general population didn't like you, you were probably a witch. being a midwife or a healer, or having a witch's mark, which was just a birthmark. If you had it in the right spot, you were fucking witch.
Shit, son.
Yeah. They, like, always, like, checked people, too, for these marks. Like, anyone that was accused, like, if you had a birthmark, you were fucked.
Damn, son. So you're a witch because you're rebellious. I'm a witch because I got a birthmark.
I mean, I have a birthmark, too, on my back. But...
Oh, I've got one on my butt.
Yeah, so I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely
I'm also over here like, haha, I'm so witchy. I'm like, I would be the first to be fucking accused.
You're out there, like,
accusing myself.
Spreading your witch. Yeah,
yeah.
You're like, guys, I'm a witch. They're like, yeah, sure you are.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay, fine. And then, like, when this comes around, they're like, you're a witch, right? And I'm like, what?
Never heard of her.
Who's a witch? Not me. Never. I would never do anything like that. So... Also, witch hunts were seen to win the favor of God. So, therefore, he would end famine and plagues.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, God was looking down like, fuck yeah, you get them witches. Fuck yeah. You got this.
That's that shit I like.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm into that. That's favorable. So, during this time, many folklore and ancient traditions actually had to be abandoned because there was a chance that you can be accused of being a witch. So, this included Beltane, which is the festival of spring. It's like the Celtic festival, I think, of spring. And the tradition of leaving offerings, such as strips of cloth, at Celtic places of pilgrimage called Clootie Wells. They were thought to be places of healing. So, like, for a long period of time, that was, like, banned.
Wow.
Because it was, like, magic, and you couldn't do that shit.
Sure, yeah.
So Scotland also probably had a pretty hard time distinguishing between, like, what magic was bad and what was actually just their folklore. Fairies were a common belief in areas of Scotland, so some people that were accused of being witches claim that their coven was not actually doing, like, bad things, that they just turned into animals and then just, like, went and hung out with the Queen of Fairies.
Okay.
So,
I mean, like, I'm interested in joining that coven.
So, like, Scotland was like, well, fuck, like... Well, now what? Like,
what do I do with that?
We can't deprive the Queen of Fairies. Like, that's just not right. Like, that's our culture. But, like, witches are bad. So, like, what do we do?
Shit.
So, like, there was like a lot of issue there. Because, like, you're right. Like, what? Now what? Scared. Like, I'm not gonna fuck with the fairies. And
no, man, you do not want to bring the wrath of the fairies.
No, like, don't fuck with them. So then lastly, this is just kind of like an aside, basically. Shakespeare's Macbeth might have drawn inspiration from the Berwick trials for his creation of the Weird Sisters, which was a trio of witches in the play that predict Macbeth's demise. Oddly enough, King James VI was actually distantly related to the real Macbeth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like, the real Macbeth was probably in, like, the early thousands. While, like... This was 1500.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the play Macbeth really doesn't have anything to do with... I mean, the characters are the same as, like, real life, but they have nothing to do with what actually happened to Macbeth. But...
Well, no.
I just thought that was interesting.
That is interesting. A lot of, like, Shakespeare's inspiration comes from stuff like that. Like, I haven't read it personally, but I'm pretty sure A Midsummer Night's Dream has a lot of, like, fairy mythology in it.
I haven't read that
like,
either.
Macbeth does have that's where we get, like, double, toil and trouble, because that's what the witches use to, like, cast spells on the characters.
Yeah. It's really cool, because I remember reading Macbeth in high school. And I don't think I hated it.
No, I liked it.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed most Shakespeare that we read.
Too, yeah.
But I'd like to read it as an adult and kind of see how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because, like, Shakespeare was also, like, prominent around this time. So, like, he was writing a lot of stuff based off of things that were going on in the world. So, like, he just happened to take inspiration from this. So, yeah, that's all I got on that.
Cool.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll be right back.
Yes, we will. All right, give me what you got.
Okay, so my sources are the New York Times, Time.com, I've got a lot, History.com, ABCNews.go.com, ChicagoTribune.com, NPR.org, Newsweek.com, and CBSNews.com.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I did a lot of research.
Okay.
Okay, so in a article released by the New York Times on July 24th, so pretty recent, they reported that the Pentagon has kept a branch of the Office of Naval Intelligence under wraps for the last few years. It is called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. And they are basically used to gather intelligence regarding UFOs.
I'm upset.
Is this your other topic?
Was this the one that you thought we did the same one of? No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
No. Usually UFO stuff, if I see something, I leave it for you because I know how much joy you get out of this.
I thought you were doing this because I saw that you saved an article to that,
No, I saved it because, like, I thought it was interesting, and
yeah.
I was thinking of our episode about, the Fermi paradox.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Totally feel free to use that.
So, this task force was mentioned in an outline budget in a recent meeting, and basically what it boils down to is they're required to report at least some of their findings to the public every 6 months from now on. So we're gonna be, it's not, granted, the main focus of this task force is not to discover extraterrestrial life, it's to discover whether or not there are other countries that have, like, more advanced technology than us, namely Russia and China.
Okay.
So it's more aimed to make sure that we're, like, you know, staying at the top tier, which are we? But neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
But
now's not the time to figure that out. Yeah. We're way past that point.
Yeah. But retired officials who used to work with this task force are hoping for confirmation of extraterrestrial aircraft. Basically, this whole task force has been kept, like, very under wraps. It began with a unit in 2007 called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program under the Defense Intelligence Agency, but it was reported to have been disbarred in 2012. However, there is evidence that it continued to operate through 2017.
Probably.
Yeah. A former director of the program, Luis Elizondo, said, "It will no longer have to hide in the shadows. It will have a new transparency." So it's, like, super exciting that they have to release stuff to the public. This is, like, a direct quote from the New York Times. "Mr. Elizondo is among a small group of former government officials and scientists with security clearances who, without presenting physical evidence, say they are convinced that objects of undetermined origin have crashed on Earth with materials retrieved for study."
Oh, boy. I feel like, though, this is something that, like, they announced, like, months ago, but, like, they did it during, like, the height of panic.
Yeah, but so it just, like, slipped under the radar.
Yeah, like, they were like, well, now's the time. If everyone's freaking out, might as well get them to also freak out about this. Well, get it over with.
Yeah, pretty much. Eric Davis, a former astrophysicist that worked, like, as a contractor on the task force, says that he studied materials that we could not make ourselves.
Oh, God.
Davis is now employed by Aerospace Corporation, but as recently as March, he held briefings with the Defense Department regarding off-world vehicles not made on this Earth.
Oh,
aliens!
Ooh, I feel like I gotta chill.
I know, it's got the spooks.
It does give me spookies.
So that just kind of, like, inspired me to look up, like, more recent credible UFO sightings.
Okay.
So that's really what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
So, did you know that there's, like, a scale on how, I think it's called the SCU, the Scientific Coalition for Ufology, grades, like, UFO sightings?
No.
So, it's basically, like, a scale, like a moving scale, and 1 point is awarded for sightings with multiple witnesses. 1 point is awarded if there is, like, an expert witness, like law enforcement, a pilot, a government official.
Okay.
Armed forces, stuff like that. 1 point is awarded if there's picture evidence. Another point is awarded if there's video evidence. 1 point for aircraft flying in a pattern inconsistent with any currently known technology.
Oh, God.
So you can get, there were, like, a couple of other criteria, but it didn't listed. So for most of these, I have, like, a score for them. There's only one that I don't have a score for.
Oh, boy.
That one is the first one, which is the NJ Turnpike in 2001. Just after midnight on July 14th in 2001, multiple cars on the New Jersey Turnpike between Staten Island and Carteret just kind of, like, pulled over to watch the sky because they saw this, like, strange orange and white pattern of lights in the sky in, like, a V formation. And Lieutenant Daniel Tarrant of Carteret, so he's, like, a police, was one of the people that saw this. Reports came in with, like, a feeling of serenity like, falling over whoever had stopped to watch it.
Okay.
Air traffic controllers denied having anything flying in the area. There were no military jets, no aircraft, or, like, anything else reported. The New York Strange Phenomena Investigators, NISPY, which is, like, the best name for a group ever.
Fucking love it.
They don't have any government affiliation. They claim to have received FAA radar that corroborated these sightings. So, like, it showed up on FAA radar, but, like, the aircraft controllers in the area denied having, like, anything to do with it.
That's scary.
Yeah. This sighting is really similar in nature to the Phoenix Light sighting in 1997, which was, like, it was pretty similar. It was pretty much the same thing. There was, like, this V formation of lights over Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
And a ton of people saw it.
That's so fucking scary.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people saw it. That one's the only one that I don't have a score for.
Okay.
The next one takes place in 2004. A former Navy pilot, Commander David Fravor, was doing, like, a training mission off the coast of California with his unit when they were asked to go check out some unidentified flying objects about, like, 60 miles from where they currently were.
Okay.
So, the report had said that they saw these objects, like, descending and then disappearing. When they arrived, Fravor said he saw, like, a tic-tac shaped object about 40 feet in length, no wings, just kind of hovering above the water. He said that it created a disturbance along the surface of the water that was not similar to a helicopter or an airplane or any other, like, craft that he had ever seen, like, hovering over water. He kind of, like, accelerated towards it.
Okay.
And as he did so, it left. Like, it just kind of, like, zooped on out of there.
It was like, fuck this. I'm not getting caught.
A quote from him said, "It flew faster than anything I'd ever seen in my life."
Oh, God.
And this is a pilot.
That's...
Yes. Yes. They went to investigate the water below, but it was just kind of, like, undisturbed water.
Oh, God, that's so fucking scary.
Yeah. So that sighting has a score of 6, which is, it's pretty high.
That's
the highest of any of these scores.
Oh, God. I was going to say, that's pretty high.
Yeah. So then, this is called the O'Hare Airport UFO. So, a United worker spotted a flying saucer-like disc. This is 2006. At about 4:30 p.m. So this is, like, broad daylight at the O'Hare Airport. Pilots, mechanics, and other, like, airline management all saw it.
The daylight ones are the ones that scare me the most.
I know.
Because, like, you can see what it is, and you're just like,
yeah,
what am I looking at?
Yeah. And, like, reports continued to dribble in the coming weeks, so, like, a lot of people saw this one. There were a lot of people to corroborate this story. And they said it ranged anywhere from 6 to 24 feet in diameter, which is, like, that's a pretty big range. 6 to 24 feet, that's could be anything.
Okay.
Some said it was spinning, some said it was stationary, but everyone agreed that it was entirely silent. Like, there was no noise.
Is there video of this one?
I don't think there is video of this one specifically, but there are a couple that I'm going to go over that have video.
I was going to say, because I feel like I remember one coming out with this video that, like, I've watched, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at, because it was definitely during the daylight.
Yeah.
And, like, as I said, the daylight ones scare me the most, because it's like, those aliens are fucking brave.
Yeah.
Like, you know that people can see you, and you're just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Oh, man. It was reported to be, like, just below the cloud deck, so, like, right before the clouds begin, so about, like, 1,900 feet up in the air. It shot off into the clouds and left, like, a round hole in its wake in the clouds behind it. It couldn't have been a weather balloon or, like, another, like, regular aircraft, because you're near an airport, so it causes, like, a potential hazard, so the airport has to be aware of anything. The FAA denied that it was a UFO of any kind, citing that the weather conditions were right for what is called a hole punch cloud, which is...
okay, I know what this is.
Okay, so for those that don't, this is a quote from Dr. Mark Hammergren, who works with the Adler Planetarium. It's something that occurs when a propeller or jet airplane passes through when you have uniform cloud cover, and the temperature is right near the freezing point. They make liquid water droplets freeze, and a hazy disk of ice crystals descend from a hole, and it looks like a perfect hole punched in the cloud.
Yeah, this came up when I was doing research for my weather topic. And it was, like, one of those things that, like, once again, I kind of just didn't understand it. So I was like, I'm not going to include that. But, like, I saw pictures of it, and it's fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't really get it either. Does it look like a UFO?
Not particularly.
If you saw it at an airport, would you maybe confuse it for a UFO?
I guess if the conditions were right.
Okay.
Like, I think during the day, like, I mean, I'd like to think that I can tell the difference between a cloud and another object in the sky. So, like, to me, it just looked like, I would definitely think it was weird.
Yeah.
Like, I would definitely be like, that is not right, but it still would look like clouds.
Okay.
Like, it still looks like clouds just with a giant hole in it.
Okay.
It's really weird, but I don't know if I would confuse it for a UFO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially if there's, like, 50 other people around.
Yeah,
Probably
like, maybe
would
if my
confuse
vision
it.
was, like, real shitty.
Sure.
And, like, it was, like, real blurry to me, I
Yeah.
could, but for
Probably
me, I'm like,
not.
no, I think I'd know what that is.
Okay. That one has a score of 4, so, like,
Okay.
not as high, but it's still pretty high.
That's still nerve-wrackingly high for me.
Yeah. This one took place in Stephenville, Texas in 2008. Dozens of residents made a report on January 8th of 2008. They said there were white lights above Highway 67. First in, like, a horizontal line, and then in 2 parallel lines. There were even reports from a pilot and a police officer that came in, so, like, decently credible. It was entirely silent once again. That's one of the things that really, like, frightens me about all of these claims. Is, like,
shit can
that they're,
sneak up on you?
yeah, they're so silent, because, like, that's technology that's so beyond us, it's frightening, because we can't make planes silent. They're nowhere near silent.
Yeah.
You can hear them 1,000 feet overhead when they fly by.
I mean, I feel like I have a hard time, like, hearing planes. Like, if they're up pretty high, like, I don't think I hear them.
No, not if they're, like, a speck in the sky, but you will occasionally hear one, like,
oh, yeah, for
roaring
sure.
overhead.
I mean, yeah, they're fucking loud. I mean, when I've driven down to go to, like, Books A Million, and I, like, go past the Atlantic City Airport, and they're, like, taking off right there, because that literally takes off right on that fucking road.
Right.
And, like, you have an entire plane above you. It is the scariest fucking thing, because you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, are they gonna land on this road? Like, no, the landing strip is literally right there, borders the road, but it's so scary.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine something even, like, that big being quiet.
Right. And imagine the technology and the energy it would take to make something that big silent.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
I don't like it.
The pilot who saw it, Steve Allen, said it streaked away at a speed he would estimate to be about 3,000 miles an hour.
Jesus
which is, like,
fucking Christ.
That's... I don't know how fast planes go. I know they go pretty fast, but I don't think it's that fast.
Is that, like, faster than, like, the speed of sound?
I'm not sure. That would be a good question to look up and hit with the next episode.
Yeah.
It crossed a section of sky in seconds that it would take him 20 minutes to cross in his plane.
Oh, God.
The aircraft dimensions were estimated to be about a half-mile wide by a mile long.
Jesus.
And this one, for some reason, has a score of 0, which I don't know if... Like, there are ways that you can get your scores taken away. I don't know if this got its score taken away somehow, because to me, to have a police officer and a pilot both have seen it seems, like, relatively credible.
Yeah.
But they've got a lot of, like, stipulations and criteria.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what, like... They're like, well, we just deducted points from you then.
This next one is... from Puerto Rico, Aguadilla, in 2013. There is a video of this one. I did watch it. It's a little bizarre. A UFO was reported near a runway at Rafael Hernandez Airport, so another airport sighting. And it actually caused a delay to a flight because it was, like, sticking around for so long.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that freaks me out.
Yeah.
I don't like
it
that.
had, like, no flashing signals or lights on or anything like that. And it was spotted flying at low altitude sometimes. Sometimes, like, as low as below the tree line. Yeah. Like, that's real low.
That's too low for my comfort.
Yeah. It was reported to be clocked going close to 100 miles an hour. The video was sent to the SCU, the Scientific Coalition for Ufology, and was given a score of 6. So that one is also pretty freaking credible.
Mm-hmm. I don't like it.
I know. And then the most recent one, this might be one of the videos that you've seen recently. It was a video taken off the East Coast. The actual location was stripped because it's a government video, and it was released in 2017, but the video was taken in 2015. It was released from the Pentagon, depicting a small unidentified aircraft. It was taken in an FA-18 Super Hornet, so like an Air Force ship.
Okay.
You can hear the pilots of the planes, like, exclaiming over its speed and, like, not knowing what it is. It's pretty cool to listen to. They're like, dude, what is that? That is insane. They're, like, shocked.
What is the time of day that this happened at?
I'm not sure. I feel like it was daylight.
Okay.
Is this the video that you saw?
I don't know, because I feel like I watched one one time that was like, it was probably like a cigar-shaped looking one. That was definitely during daylight.
Okay.
Because there was multiple people on the video going, what are we looking at? Like, what is this?
This one is like a white oval with no wings or like other visible flying mechanisms.
We'll have to look it up and I'll have to tell you if that's it.
Yeah.
The other one I think I saw was like either at sunrise or sunset.
Okay. A lot of times, too, if you're watching ones from, like, Navy, like, tapes or recordings, the, like, color is skewed because they might film in infrared or they might film in, like, night vision or something like that. So, like, the color might be off.
I'll have to find it and show you which one I'm talking about.
The craft is clocked at 25,000 feet, like, high. And it's, like, rotating as it dashes through the sky. That one also has a score of 6.
Yeah, because how do you explain that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, that's so fucking scary.
Yeah, so you guys can be rest assured that when the Pentagon releases information, I will be updating you about it. I gotta stay on top of it, because you know when the aliens come on out.
Make sure you tell Alexa. Just sit down with her and have a talk. Listen, if there is any news on UFOs or aliens...
You need to let me know.
You let me know right away.
Yeah.
It's like, text me at work, Alexa.
Just text me.
Let me know.
So those are some UFO sightings in recent years with credibility.
I am very freaked out.
I know.
And very uncomfortable.
I know.
I like that the first one was a New Jersey one.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some weird shit on our parkway.
I think I've seen a couple on the parkway,
I'm
too.
almost positive I have.
Yeah.
On the parkway and on the beach at night.
Yeah.
There was one experience that I had on the beach at night that I still don't know what the fuck I was looking at. It wasn't a plane, because there was no blinking lights of any color, and I'm pretty sure that was in a triangle, and that just, like, slowly, like, moved overhead.
Okay.
And I think I had that app that tells me, like, what's in the sky at the time, and...
It didn't give you anything?
It wasn't a satellite, I don't know what the fuck it was.
I had this one experience on the parkway. I was following Brian Parkway North, so, like, going to his house, and, there was this, like, dot in the sky that stayed in the same spot as we were driving, so, like, it was moving at a pace probably approximate to us to remain in that sky, and then, like, darted across to the other side of the parkway, and then continued, like, on that side the whole drive to his house. And I called him and I was like, dude, are you seeing whatever is in the sky right now? And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see anything.
Because that's what he does. He's like, no, I don't know, nothing.
He's seen one too, over by John Wells' house.
Did he really? That doesn't surprise me. John Wells has, like, ripe for the pickings area for freaky things. I think about that every time we're in his backyard having a bonfire, and I'm, like, staring up at the sky. I'm like, this is where the aliens are going to get me. They're going to get me in this fucking yard, because it's open space and it's dark.
Yep.
So
anyway.
Yeah.
Aliens, guys, they're out there and they're getting ready to come here.
That's why the Pentagon has to warn us.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, 2020, everything's game, so...
Okay, so, like, I mean, I'm a little bit into the conspiracy theories, and I've been looking at, like, I follow the Aliens Reddit on our page just to kind of, like, keep tabs on stuff, because we do talk about it.
Just in case somebody has information that I don't.
Yeah, that's where I found this article.
Yeah.
And, again, this is, like, hardcore left theories, but, like, people are theorizing that the Pentagon is literally preparing us because eventually they're not going to be able to deny the existence of aliens.
I'm surprised that they've gone this long denying it, because I feel like I have known about the existence of aliens for like my whole life. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like I came
never...
out of the womb going, probably.
I agree.
Not denying it. Like, no one ever taught me about aliens. I probably didn't watch a lot of shit on TV about aliens, but in my head, there was always such a thing.
I agree. I've been a firm believer for life.
I mean, I've stated it before, and I will state it again, and I will state it in future episodes when I know we talk about aliens again. You are stupid to think that we are the only planet with life on it.
Yes.
It's just fucking dumb.
Yes. I don't want to think that they're here, but... It seems I might have to come to terms with that eventually.
You're going to have to. I think that they're here. I think that they've probably infiltrated this society.
You've given me
I mean, like, how many people are there out there that we can't explain?
I can think of at least 10.
Like, there's just certain things where you're just like, you are not from here. You are not of this earth.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if the Pentagon's like, all right, you know
just,
what?
Like, slowly leaking information. So
yeah,
I
mean...
By the time they're like, yeah, they're real, we're like, we know, dude,
yeah.
we know.
Well, I feel like that's what happened in March when they were like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, they're like, I know you're all dealing with something, but like, UFOs.
Like, for me, I was like, all right, but, like, we already knew. Like, tell me something new.
Right.
So,
tell me
like,
about what really happened at Roswell.
Yeah. No, I really think that they're doing it right now because, like, now everyone is already, like...
Panicking.
So, like, fragile and, like, panicking.
You can't break us any further.
Yeah. Like, you don't want to wait until after we're done doing that and then do it, and then everyone spirals out of control. Like, just get it over with now.
Right.
Do
just
it
rip the Band-Aid off of all the things.
Yeah, exactly.
Call it a day.
Kick us while we're already down. Yeah. It's fine. Like, just get it over with. That way, when they do invade this year, because 2020 has already been a fucking garbage year.
Yeah. It's
every month is something. Literally every month is something.
Yes.
It'll probably be fucking September. That'll be September's theme. Fucking aliens.
What do you have for August?
I don't know yet. Did you ever see that? Did you see that meme that was right before July, and it was like the aliens, and they were like, "Oh fuck, I'm nervous. It's our turn next."
No, but I believe it.
I think I saved it on my phone to show you. Yeah, I don't know what August is gonna be. It's a grab bag.
Yeah, could be anything.
What's gonna come out of that piñata once we hit it? Spin that wheel.
Probably aliens or more locusts.
Are we currently dealing with locusts? That there needs to be more?
I feel like there was a locust outbreak
one
somewhere recently.
2 came out.
Just 2 locusts, kind of like Noah's Ark, but for locusts.
Okay. I don't know. Do you have any book recommendations at all?
I kind of have one that goes with yours, like very vaguely. I've mentioned it already, but I'm listening to that book called The Mercies.
Yeah. And
it's like a similar time period, and it is about like a Christian, he's called like the Commissioner, moves to this little like Nordic town and starts accusing people of witches.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So check that out if you're into LGBT or witches.
Yeah. I was just going to recommend Macbeth by Shakespeare.
You could do that too.
I mean, what a more appropriate thing to recommend for it.
Not
or
much.
Literally anything on witches, but like this will not be the last time that one of us talks about witches. So
no.
I just thought Macbeth being related to this was interesting. So yeah.
All right, cool. We'll see you guys next week. Till then, I don't know, just
hope that the aliens don't get you.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.